The night it all began, the wind slammed the window shut. Maya didn't move. She stood behind the bedroom curtain, her eyes locked on the driveway below. It was almost 1 a.m., and her husband didn't know she was still awake. He had kissed her forehead and said, "Good night, I'm exhausted." But 20 minutes later, Maya had heard the quiet creak of the front door, then the low sound of a car engine. Now, she watched his car roll out of the driveway in complete darkness. No headlights on. Her chest felt tight. Her breath was shallow. She didn't know what she was doing, only that she had to follow him. Without thinking, Maya pulled on her coat and boots, grabbed her keys, and quietly slipped out. She stayed far behind, keeping her lights off for as long as she could, her hands trembling on the wheel. Why was he sneaking out so late? They had been married for 7 years. Things weren't perfect, but they had a quiet, simple life, or so she thought. Lately though, her husband had changed. Strange phone calls, late meetings, sudden trips out of town, and now this home in the middle of the night. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The car turned off the main road, heading toward the edge of town. Maya kept her distance, heart pounding louder with every mile. After 15 minutes, he turned onto a dirt road that led into the forest. She slowed down, her headlights now dimmed, her breath caught in her throat. He finally stopped at the end of the road, parking behind some trees. Maya pulled over quietly, turned off her engine, and stepped out. It was cold. The only sound was the wind through the trees and the faint crunch of leaves under her boots. She followed the faint glow she saw through the wood's orange light, flickering in the distance. She crouched low and moved slowly, trying not to make a sound. Through the trees, she saw it. A small, worn-down cabin stood in the clearing. Its windows glowed with firelight, and inside was her husband. But he wasn't alone. Maya's breath caught in her throat. She ducked behind a tree and peered through a crack in the wood of the cabin. Her husband stood inside, with 3 other people, 2 men and 1 woman. They were arguing. She couldn't hear the words, but their movements were angry. Sharp. One of the men slammed his hand on the table. Her husband shouted something back. Then he reached into his coat and pulled out an envelope thick, placed it on the table. The woman opened it, quickly checking the contents. Then she nodded. Maya felt sick. What was in that envelope? Money documents. Something worse. Suddenly, one of the men pointed toward the door like he wanted her husband gone. They argued again. Then, Maya stepped on a dry branch. Crack. Everyone inside turned toward the window. She froze. A man rushed outside with a flashlight. "Did you hear that?" he shouted. Maya ducked behind a bush, her heart beating like a drum. "Someone's out here," he yelled. "You said no one followed you." "I wasn't followed," her husband snapped back. "There's no way." Maya held her breath, lying flat against the ground. After a few long minutes, they gave up looking. The man muttered, "Probably just an animal." They went back inside. Maya waited another 10 minutes before crawling quietly back to her car. Legs were shaking. Her hands were ice cold. Her husband was involved in something, and it wasn't just an affair. This was bigger, scarier. That night, she lay in bed, pretending to be asleep when he came home around 3:15 a.m. He climbed in beside her, calm and relaxed, like nothing had happened. The next morning, Maya waited until he was in the shower. Then, she opened the drawer of his nightstand. Inside, she found a small, rusty key and a folded note with an address. No name, no explanation. She copied the address and put everything back exactly where she found it. Her husband walked out of the bathroom, smiling. "You okay?" Maya nodded. "Just tired." She smiled back, but inside, she was full of questions. Later that day, she drove to the address. It led her to a rundown motel outside town. Room 14. She knocked on the door. No answer. She knocked again. Finally, a young girl opened the door. She looked about 19. Her eyes were red, like she'd been crying for days. "Who are you?" The girl whispered. "I found this address. I want to know if you're okay," Maya said softly. The girl looked scared. "He told me not to trust anyone who," Maya asked. But the girl didn't answer. She slowly closed the door. Maya stood there, stunned. Her stomach twisted. Who was that girl? What did her husband have to do with her? That night, Maya used the rusty key. It opened an old metal trunk in the garage. Inside, she found an old phone, several documents, and photographs of people she didn't recognize. One photo was of the same girl from the motel crying. On the phone was one saved number, and one message, sent yesterday. It's done. No one suspects anything. But she's getting close. Maya dropped the phone, her heart in her throat. Were they talking about her? What had her husband done? And was she already too close to the truth? The motel girl's secret. Maya couldn't sleep that night, even though her husband was sleeping peacefully. Beside her, her mind kept going back to that message on the phone. It's done. No one suspects anything, but she's getting close. Were they talking about her, and what was done? She had no answers, just fear. And that girl, the one in the motel. Maya couldn't forget her face. She looked lost, scared, and trapped. The next morning, Maya waited for her husband to leave for work. As soon as he drove off, she grabbed her keys and headed straight for the motel. This time, she didn't knock. She banged on the door of room 14. After a long pause, the same girl opened it. Her eyes widened in fear. I told you, you shouldn't be here, the girl whispered. I'm not here to hurt you, Maya said gently. Please, I just need to know the truth. I think my husband is hiding something, and I think you're part of it. The girl looked over her shoulder. He'll be angry if he finds out. Tell me, Maya begged. What did he do? What's going on? The girl's hands trembled. Come in, but you can't stay long. Maya stepped inside the small room. It smelled like old cigarettes and bleach. There was a single bed, a cracked mirror, and a pile of clothes stuffed into a corner. The girl sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the floor. My name's Lily, she said quietly. I'm 17. Maya sat beside her. Lily, are you in danger? Lily nodded slowly. I wasn't supposed to meet him, not really. I answered an online ad. It said I could earn quick money, just helping with deliveries. Nothing illegal, they said. And that's when you met my husband? Maya asked, her voice shaking. Lily hesitated. Yes, but I didn't know he was married. I didn't know anything. He said I just had to ride along and drop off some envelopes. That's it. But then one night, we drove to a house, and something happened. She looked up at Maya, her eyes full of fear. They were screaming. A man came out of the house bleeding. My husband, he didn't help him. He just told me to shut up and drive. After that, he gave me this motel room and told me to stay quiet. Maya's hands went cold. Did he hurt someone? I don't know, Lily whispered, but I think someone died. Maya felt like the ground beneath her had shifted. Her husband, the man she had trusted for years, was involved in something deadly. And this girl, this frightened child, was caught in the middle of it. Why didn't you go to the police? Maya asked. I tried, Lily said, but when I got to the station, I saw him. He was inside, talking to a detective like they were friends. I got scared and ran. I haven't left this room since. Maya's heart raced. Her husband had connections. That's why Lily stayed hidden. That's why Maya had to be careful now. Lily, listen to me, Maya said. You're not safe here. You need to get away. Lily shook her head. He checks on me. Not every day, but I can't leave. If I disappear, he'll come looking. Maya stood. Then we have to find someone we can trust. Someone outside of town. Maybe a shelter. But Lily suddenly gasped. Footsteps outside. A knock at the door. Lily, you in there? A man's voice called. Lily's eyes filled with terror. That's him. Maya grabbed her hand. The bathroom hide. Now. Lily ran inside and locked the door. Maya took a deep breath, then opened the front door halfway. There he was, her husband. He looked surprised to see her. Maya, what are you doing here? She forced a smile. I came looking for you. I found the address in your drawer. I thought maybe you were in trouble. He frowned. You followed me. I was scared, she said softly. You've been acting so strange. I thought you might be hiding something. He looked around her, trying to see into the room. What is this place? I don't know, she lied. Why are you here? He stepped back, clearly uneasy. You shouldn't be here, Maya. This place is dangerous. That's exactly what I'm starting to think, she said, her voice low. He sighed, rubbing his forehead. I've been trying to protect you. From what? She asked. He didn't answer. I need to go, he finally said. Please, don't come back here. He turned and walked away, getting into his car. Maya watched until he drove off. She closed the door and called out, Lily, it's okay. He's gone. Lily stepped out, her hands still shaking. He saw your car. He knows you know. I don't care anymore, Maya said. I'm getting you out of here. That night, Maya drove Lily to a small women's shelter in a nearby town. She used a fake name for Lily and paid cash. The shelter manager promised to keep her safe. As Maya drove back home alone, she felt stronger but more afraid than ever. She had only scratched the surface. There were things her husband was hiding, things that involved money, fear, and maybe even murder. And now, he knew she was asking questions. The secret he buried. Maya didn't go straight home. After dropping Lily at the shelter, she pulled over on the side of the road and sat quietly, her hands still gripping the steering wheel. Her heart pounded in her chest, and her mind spun with questions. What had her husband done? Why was he hiding a teenage girl in a motel? What was in those envelopes? And most of all, why did she feel like this was only the beginning? Back home, the house felt different, quiet, heavy, like the walls knew something she didn't. Her husband was in the kitchen, making coffee like everything was normal. "You're home late," he said, not looking at her. "I stopped at the grocery store," she lied. He nodded slowly, pouring his coffee. "Anything you want to talk about?" Maya looked at him closely. His face was calm, but there was something behind his eyes, something guarded. He was watching her just as much as she was watching him. "No," she said, "I'm just tired." They ate dinner in silence. That night, after he fell asleep, Maya got out of bed and opened his office door. She hadn't searched there yet. She didn't know what she was looking for, but something inside told her the truth was hidden here. She went through drawers, shelves, and folders, careful to put everything back exactly as she found it. Then, in the bottom drawer of the filing cabinet, under a stack of tax documents, she found it, an old dusty box labeled only with a date, June 14th, 2005. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside were newspaper clippings, photos, and a notebook. The first article caught her eye. Local teen disappears without a trace. Police suspect foul play. The name, Samantha Keene, age 17. Missing for over 15 years. Maya's breath caught. She flipped through more papers, more articles, a timeline, witness statements, all pointing to one person who had last seen the girl alive, her husband, back then. He was just 22. The article said he was her part-time tutor. They had been seen together several times. After Samantha vanished, the police questioned him, but nothing stuck. No charges, no proof. But why had he kept all these documents, and why now? Then Maya found the notebook. It was written in his handwriting. Notes about contacts, payments, and a phrase that kept repeating. What happened that night must never come out. Suddenly, it clicked. The girl in the motel, Lily, she looked just like Samantha Keene. Same dark hair, same green eyes. Was it possible? Maya grabbed her phone and pulled up Samantha's missing persons photo online. Her heart nearly stopped. It was like looking at an older version of Lily. She stared at the screen in disbelief. Could Lily be Samantha's daughter? Was that why her husband had been protecting her? Or was he protecting himself? The next morning, Maya made a decision. She drove to the town's public records office and asked for access to old court files. She knew the woman behind the desk. "My husband and I are doing some family research," Maya said, faking a smile. The woman smiled back and handed her the files. Maya found Samantha Keene's case classified as cold. No leads, no evidence, just rumors. But what she found next chilled her to the bone. Samantha's mother had filed a private report with a lawyer 5 months after her daughter disappeared. In it, she claimed Samantha had told her she was pregnant and scared. She never revealed who the father was, but the last name she had written down was Maya's husband's. Maya felt sick. If Samantha had been pregnant when she vanished, and Lily was 17 now, then it was true. Lily was her husband's daughter, and he had never told anyone. That night, Maya confronted him. She didn't plan it. The words just came out as she stood by the window, watching the rain. "I know about Samantha," she said. Softly. The coffee cup slipped from his hand and shattered on the floor. For the first time, his calm expression cracked. "I know she was pregnant. I know she disappeared. And I know you were the last person to see her alive." He stared at her, breathing heavily. Finally, he spoke. "You don't understand. Then make me understand," she shouted. He sank into a chair, burying his face in his hands. "I didn't hurt her," he said. "I loved her, but I was scared. We were both young. I told her I couldn't raise a child. We argued. She left that night, and I never saw her again." "Then where did Lily come from?" Maya asked. He looked up slowly. "She showed up at my work last year. Said her mother died in an accident. Samantha. She had raised Lily alone, never told anyone who the father was. But Lily found a letter with my name. Why didn't you tell me? Maya asked, tears in her eyes. Because I thought you'd leave me, he whispered. Because I didn't know what to do. And now I think someone else is after her. Samantha had enemies. She was into something dangerous. And I think Lily saw something she shouldn't have. Maya stood frozen. Everything she thought she knew was breaking apart. Her husband had a daughter he never told her about. A missing girl who had vanished under mysterious circumstances. And now Lily's child might be in danger. But from who? And why now? Someone is watching her. The next morning, Maya sat in her car outside the women's shelter, heart pounding. She hadn't told her husband she was coming here. She needed answers. Alone. When Lily appeared at the door, Maya waved her over. The girl hesitated, but then got into the car. I know, Maya said gently. I know who your mother was. Lily looked shocked. You do? Samantha Keane, Maya whispered. You're her daughter. And my husband, he's your father. Lily didn't respond at first. Her lips trembled, her eyes filled with tears. I read the letter, Lily said quietly. After my mum died, I found it hidden inside an old book. She never told me who my father was, but she left a message saying I had to be careful, that I couldn't trust the man who left her. Maya frowned. What do you mean? She wrote. He didn't hurt me, but he ran when I needed him the most. And others, they weren't so kind. Maya felt cold. What others? She asked. Lily shook her head. She never said, but after she died, strange things started happening. I found someone going through our old apartment. Then someone followed me home from school. That's when I started running. I thought finding my father would help, but now I'm not so sure. Maya reached for Lily's hand. You did the right thing. And now, we'll find the truth together. Back at home, Maya sat in front of her laptop for hours, searching everything she could about Samantha's past. Then she found something strange. 5 months before Samantha disappeared, she had been arrested for trespassing. The location, a private research lab. Maya clicked deeper. The lab had been closed for years, now shut down due to ethical violations. There were rumors of illegal experiments, secret trials, and payoffs. Samantha had been working part-time as a janitor in the building before her arrest, and guess who had invested money in that same company back in 2005? Her husband. Maya's hands shook. She clicked through more records. According to a newspaper article, several women who had worked at the lab had gone missing after it shut down. Samantha wasn't the only one. Was this what she had discovered? Was this why she vanished? That night, Maya confronted her husband again. He sat on the edge of the bed, his head in his hands. I know about the research lab, she said. You invested in it. Samantha worked there, and then she vanished. He didn't deny it. I didn't know what was happening in that place. He said, I swear, I invested early, like everyone else in town. When the news came out, I pulled out my money. But Samantha, she found something. She told me she had proof. She said someone was watching her. Who? Maya asked. I don't know, he whispered. She never got to tell me. The night she disappeared, she called and said, if anything happens to me, promise me you'll protect our baby. Then the line went dead. Tears welled in his eyes. I've lived with that guilt for years. When Lily showed up, I thought maybe I had a second chance. Maya sat beside him. But if someone's still after Lily, we have to act now. The next day, Maya returned to the shelter. But something was wrong. The front desk woman looked nervous. Lily isn't here, she said. She left early this morning. She said a relative had come to get her. Maya froze. What relative? I don't know. She didn't say. A man came in, said he was her uncle. She seemed scared, but she went with him. No, Maya gasped. She doesn't have any uncles. The woman blinked. I thought something was off. Maya ran outside and called her husband. Lily's gone, she said breathlessly. Someone took her pretending to be her family. There was silence. On the other end, then his voice came through, low and serious. They've found her. Maya drove straight home, speeding through the quiet streets. But as she turned into her neighborhood, her headlights caught something strange. A black van parked across the street from her house. No markings, no license plate. She pulled over and sat in her car, watching. Then she saw it's someone sitting inside, watching her house, watching her. Her heart raced. She turned off the engine and crouched low in her seat. She waited for 10 minutes, then took a photo of the van. She backed up slowly and drove away. She didn't go home. Instead, she drove to the one person she hadn't seen in years, her older brother, Daniel, a retired police officer, the only person she could trust now. Later that night, Daniel examined the photo. "That's no regular van," he said. "That's surveillance grade. Whoever this is, they're organized, possibly government connected, or private security." Maya told him everything about Samantha, about Lily, about the lab, and about the night her husband's name appeared in the missing persons case file. Daniel rubbed his chin. "You're in deep," he said, "but I've seen worse, and I've got friends who still owe me favors." He reached into his drawer and pulled out a lockbox. "First, we get Lily back. Then we bring the truth out into the light." The hidden tape. The wind howled outside as Maya and her brother Daniel sat in his living room, going over every detail again. "She's out there somewhere," Maya whispered, "with people who don't want her to speak. What if they hurt her?" Daniel placed a hand on her shoulder. "They won't. We'll find her." He opened his laptop and connected it to a secure network. "I've already pinged traffic cameras around the women's shelter," he said. "We're looking for a black van, no plates, around 9 a.m. this morning." Maya's phone buzzed. It was a message from her husband. "Whoever took Lily, they sent me a letter. No return address, just coordinates." She read it aloud to Daniel. He frowned. "Could be a trap, or they want something in exchange." Maya texted back quickly, "Don't do anything. Daniel and I are handling it." Daniel zoomed in on one of the traffic feeds. "There," he pointed. "Black van leaving the shelter's street, heading north." He ran the feed forward. "A stop at a gas station 5 miles away. There might be footage from there." They drove to the gas station immediately. Daniel flashed his old badge and spoke to the manager. "Yes," the man nodded. "A van was here just this morning. The driver paid cash, never removed his hoodie." "Did he come inside?" "No," the man replied. "But the girl did. She looked scared." Maya's heart dropped. The man checked the security footage. There she was, Lily, walking quickly, looking around nervously, then heading back to the van. But as she opened the door, she did something strange. She bent down, as if pretending to tie her shoe, and slipped something under a trash bin. Daniel paused the footage. "Smart girl." They rushed outside to the same bin, now overflowing with bags. Daniel ripped them open until Maya found it, a tiny black object, a voice recorder. Maya clutched it with shaking hands. Back at Daniel's house, they plugged it into his laptop. A static crackle. Then voices. Lily's voice. "If someone finds this, please help me. I'm with a man who says he knows what happened to my mom. He says there's a tape recording my mom made before she disappeared. He says it proves something illegal happened at that lab. He says my life is in danger now because of that tape." Then silence stopped. Then the man's voice, muffled but clear. "We should have destroyed that tape years ago. Now she left it with someone close. Probably didn't trust the system. We need to find it before the girl talks." The recording ended. Maya felt her stomach twist. Her voice trembled. "Samantha left behind evidence, and thereafter it." Daniel stood up. "Then we need to find that tape before they do." Back home, Maya dug through every box of old things her husband kept from his past. She found a tin-marked junk drawer, college. Inside were old notes, receipts, and at the bottom a cassette tape marked, "For when truth matters more." Then safety care. Her hands shook as she held it up to the light. She didn't tell her husband she found it. Not yet. She brought it to Daniel. He had a working player. They inserted the tape and pressed play. At first silence. Then Samantha's voice. "If you're listening to this, I'm probably gone. I've discovered things at the lab. They're testing on people without consent. Homeless women, single mothers. I found files, photos. Some of the women died. Others just disappeared." Her voice cracked. "I tried to go to the police, but they said there was no evidence. Then someone started following me. I don't know who to trust anymore, not even him." Daniel paused the tape. "She didn't trust your husband," he said carefully. Maya looked away. Maybe she thought he was part of it, or maybe he just ran when she needed him. They finished the tape. It was damning. Names, dates, internal codes from the lab, enough to launch a full investigation if the right people saw it. Daniel's voice was firm. "This tape could bring those people down. But now they know Lily exists, that she has a connection. That makes her a threat." That night, Maya received a call from a blocked number. She hesitated, then answered. "Is this Maya?" a man's voice asked. "We have the girl. If you want her safe, bring us the tape. No police, no tricks. We'll exchange her at midnight. I'll send a location." Click, she stared at the phone, heart racing. They knew. Daniel looked at her. "We're not going alone. I'm calling my contact at the State Bureau." Maya shook her head. "They said no, police." Daniel gave her a look. "I'm not risking your life, or hers. We'll do this my way." At midnight, Maya and Daniel pulled up to the edge of an abandoned train station, far outside the city. The place was quiet, except for the wind rustling, broken glass and old signs. She held the tape in her hand. From the shadows, a man appeared. Black coat, hood up. Behind him Lily, bound and blindfolded. The man raised a walkie-talkie. "No tricks, lady. Bring the tape. Take the girl." Maya stepped forward, but then a red dot appeared on the man's chest. Then another. Lights flicked on from all sides. Daniel's backup had arrived quietly, hidden in cars and rooftops. "FBI," a voice boomed. "Hands where we can see them." The man froze. More shadows ran behind the station. Some tried to flee, but were caught. One agent ran to Lily and freed her. Maya grabbed her in a tight hug. "You're safe now," she whispered, tears in her eyes. The agent took the tape from Maya. "We've been waiting years for something like this," he said. "You just opened the door to everything." The truth that changed everything. The next morning, Maya sat in the FBI office, holding a cup of untouched coffee. She hadn't slept all night, but Lily was safe, and that was all that mattered. Across the table, Agent Ramirez laid down a thick file. "The tape your husband kept hidden all these years, it's real. Everything Samantha Keene said matches what we've suspected for years." My throat tightened. She was telling the truth all along. Ramirez nodded. "The research lab was involved in unauthorized experiments on vulnerable women. They thought no one would notice, no family, no money, no power. But Samantha noticed, and she was brave enough to speak up." Maya asked the question that had been burning inside her. "Did my husband know? Was he involved?" Ramirez took a deep breath. "From what we've found so far, no. He invested in the lab early on, like many wealthy men at the time. But when the news broke, he pulled out his investment. There's no proof he knew about the experiments. But he did hide. The tape, that's obstruction." Maya clenched her jaw. "He said he was trying to protect Lily, but maybe he was protecting himself." Later that day, Maya sat with Lily in a quiet park near Daniel's house. The wind was cool, the sky cloudy, but for the first time in days, there was peace. "I was so scared," Lily said softly. "I thought I'd never see daylight again." "You were brave," Maya said. "Smarter than most adults. That recorder you hid, that changed everything." Lily looked up at her. "What happens now?" Maya smiled gently. "You stay with me, we'll make it official. I want to be your guardian, your family." Lily's eyes welled up. "Really?" "Yes," Maya said, holding her close. "I may not be your mother, but I'll protect you like one." 3 weeks later, the case made national headlines. Secret lab scandal. Hidden tape reveals years of abuse. Missing women. Whistleblower's daughter found alive after kidnapping. The names of several executives and investors were released, some arrested, others under investigation. Maya's husband, James, was charged with obstruction of justice. He accepted a deal, testified against former partners in exchange for a lighter sentence. He was sentenced to 2 years of house arrest, banned from investing or working in any medical organization. Again, Maya visited him one last time. "I'm sorry," he said, "for everything, for lying, for hiding. I just wanted to protect what little I had left of her, of Samantha. I thought if I said nothing, the past would disappear." Maya shook her head. "The past doesn't disappear. It waits, and one day, it knocks on your door." Daniel stood by Maya's side through it all: court hearings, media questions, Lily's, paperwork. "I forgot what it felt like to care this much," he said one evening. "Retirement's boring. I think I needed this chaos." Maya smiled. "We all needed something to wake us up." Months passed. Lily started school again. She liked art and loved science. She asked questions all the time. One night, while working on a school project, she turned to Maya. "Do you think my mom was scared when she made that tape?" Maya thought for a moment. Yes, but she was brave anyway. That's real courage, doing the right thing, even when you're afraid. Lily nodded. "I want to be like her, not scared of telling the truth." "You already are," Maya whispered. 1 year later, Maya stood on a small stage in a local hall. The town had gathered for a memorial event to honor women like Samantha who went missing, those who were silenced. Maya held the microphone tightly. My name is Maya Whitmore, and a year ago, I followed my husband one night out of suspicion. I thought I'd uncover betrayal. What I found was a buried truth, a girl without a voice, and a past that demanded justice. She looked at Lily sitting in the front row. We often think silence protects us, but silence only feeds fear. It is the truth that heals us even when it hurts. Samantha was silenced, but her voice still changed the world. Through her daughter, through a hidden tape, through the power of not giving up. The crowd stood in applause. That night, Maya sat at her desk, writing a letter, not to send but to remember. Dear Samantha, I never knew you, but I feel like I do now. Your courage saved your daughter. Your voice, though buried, rose louder than those who tried to erase it. I promise to protect Lily. I promise she will never be alone again, and thank you for reminding me that one woman can still change everything. She folded the letter and placed it in a box labeled Samantha's memory. Inside it were photos, the tape, and a small silver chain Lily had worn the night she was taken. Life slowly returned to normal, but Maya knew nothing would ever be the same again. She had learned that the people we trust can hide secrets, but truth has a way of rising, even from the darkest corners. And in the end, it wasn't just about discovering what her husband had hidden. It was about becoming the kind of woman who no longer needed to follow someone else into the night, because she had found the light within herself. Final lesson: sometimes the truth hides in silence for years, but one brave voice, whether it's a whistleblower, a lost child, or a woman who refuses to stop asking questions, can change everything. Never underestimate the power of digging deeper, standing up, and protecting those who can't protect themselves.